Hello, welcome to Influencers, a show that brings you the people that influence our city, our state, and our community. Today we're honored to have Chairman of the Clark County Commission, Steve Sisolak. Steve, how are you?
Thanks for having me, Peter. It's a real pleasure to be here. Appreciate
It's
the
absolute
opportunity.
pleasure having you here.
Thank
So, one of the things I like to start off with is just ask a crazy question like, where would you rather be right now?
Nowhere. I mean, I love being in Las Vegas. I mean, it's a great community to be part of. A lot happening here. There's no more exciting place, I think, to live, and happy to be part of this community and be here, and particularly be here with you and the exquisite studios you've built. It's a real treat. So thank you.
We're real happy with the LCC CenturyLink Studios and happy to have you here. So,
Thank you.
tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get to Nevada?
Okay, I came out to Nevada in 1976. Believe it or not, I graduated from college in University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. Had never been west of the Mississippi prior to that, and got in my car a day after Christmas and drove out here and got here, I think, on January 2nd in 1976. So I've been here for 42 years. I came out here originally to go get my master's degree at UNLV, which I got a little later in 1978. I finished that. So been here for a while.
And who's had the greatest influence on you? I mean, in your entire life, not just in Nevada.
My entire life would, without a doubt, be my mom and dad. My dad passed 12 years ago now. My mom is still living. God bless her. She's 91, lives with my sister. They taught me everything that's important to me: work ethic, family values, value of a dollar, how to treat people. I just was blessed with a very strong upbringing, and I think they influenced me with great moral values and contributed a lot to who I am today.
And tell us a little bit about the journey politically. You were Board of Regent?
Yeah, prior to that, I ran for the state senate and lost, and ran for the state senate again and lost again. Then I ran for the Board of Regents and served 2 terms on the Board of Regents. I was in my 10th year on the Board of Regents. I served 10 years as a member of the board. And then the opening came up on the Clark County Commission, so I ran for the Clark County Commission, and I'm now in my 3rd term on the commission, and my 3rd term as chair on the county commission.
And your journey to become the chairman, walk us through that process.
Being chair is something that's, I'm very humbled and flattered by the fact that my colleagues chose me to be chair. You know, you're elected by your constituents to be a commissioner, but the commissioners vote and pick one of us to be chair and one of us to be vice chair. And I was real humbled and fortunate to have my commissioners put their faith in me to be elected chair, and I enjoy serving in that capacity.
Excellent. More with our chairman of the Clark County Commission, Steve Sisolak, in a moment. Welcome back to Influencers. Here today with Chairman of the Clark County Commission, Steve Sisolak. Steve, tell us about what the chairman does, the impact it can have. I know that the Strip is part of the Clark County.
Right. A lot of people don't understand the Strip is really not in Las Vegas. The Strip is in unincorporated Clark County. Most everything south of Sahara is unincorporated Clark County. We're all elected individually, the 7 commissioners representing districts. We're not elected at large. We're elected by our specific districts. The chair has the same power basically as any other commissioner does. It's not a power position. It's we all get 1 vote, and you need 4 votes to get something passed. What the chair does is really mostly is run the meetings. You know, you try to keep order in the meeting, keep the comments as on topic as they possibly can be. You order the commissioners as the comments go and deal with public comment and public hearings and that sort of thing throughout the meeting. So the main function of chair is to help coordinate the agenda a little bit and to basically run the meetings that we deal with.
Yeah. So as you know, because you work closely with the Latin Chamber of Commerce, we represent a thriving small business community. So I'm kind of interested in knowing what can the Clark County Commission do to help small business?
We try to do what we can to help small business, and I think some of the things that we've done have been impactful. For example, I'll give you one that when I got on the commission, we were giving out a landscaping contract for our parks and public buildings, and it was an enormous contract, and said, wait a minute, can't we break this up a little bit to give some smaller businesses a chance? Which we did, and we've given some smaller businesses an opportunity to get started. Because you don't start at a big business, you start as a small business and grow into big business. You start adding more people, adding more employees, and getting more business. So we try to have a carve-out for MBEs, which are minority business enterprises, and DBEs, which are disadvantaged business enterprises, both at the airport, in all our facilities. We have vending, we have construction opportunities, so that everybody basically has an equal footing and equal opportunity.
How can the small business community take more advantage of some of the tools at the Clark County? What should they be doing?
What they should be doing, and that's a great question, Peter, I think they need to do a little bit more research. They need to get online and see what opportunities are available for small businesses, whether it's in any field, whether it's in the construction part, if it's in the vending part, if it's in the services part. We've done it with attorneys that we've carved out part for some minority attorneys that have their bar license and they want to practice, and it gives them an opportunity to get their business going and to grow a little bit. So explore on the various websites, the county website, the various city websites, the airport website, whatever minority business opportunities or disadvantaged business opportunities are available, and hopefully they can qualify for either one of those and get some business going and get into the market, basically get your foot in the door.
So they'll be able to find it right there on.
Absolutely, on our website.
That's excellent. We'll be back more with Steve Sisolak in a moment.
I mean, we need to protect the jobs we have, preserve those, restore the jobs we lost, and create new jobs. When you get people to have a job, they maintain their dignity. It helps with the healthcare problem, the education problem. It's really a solution to a lot of our problems.
Hello, welcome back to Influencers. Here again with Steve Sisolak. New initiatives. Tell us about what are the plans at the county, what's coming up that's new, fresh?
We've got a lot going on in Clark County right now. We're very, very fortunate that it is such a positive business environment. In the next 3 to 5 years, we've got approximately $18 billion worth of projects online scheduled to be going. When you're talking about, of course, the Raider Stadium, you're talking about Convention Visitors Authority, expansion, you're talking about Resorts World, you're talking about Mr. Wynn is expanding his lagoon area back there where he's building his project. Mr. Adelson is adding the Madison Square Garden portion of his. Because Steve Witkoff is building the Fontainebleau he came in. There's so many things going on that it's the great part about it, Peter, is it's going to create a lot of new opportunities for people that previously didn't have the opportunities, both on the construction side and on the long-term side. These are long-term jobs that are associated with all of those. And that's not to mention the enormous amount of growth that we're getting in the residential area, the single-family homes, multifamily homes, the strip shopping centers, those sort of things. So it's a great time to be in Clark County. The downside is we're almost running out of labor, so we need to get people interested in labor, get them involved, and keep control of land prices, and we should be in great shape.
Yeah. What influence does the commission have on gaming, construction, and how closely do you work together with them?
I work very close with all those industries on a daily, weekly basis. I communicate with the industry leaders, both in the construction, the development, the gaming, the hospitality, entertainment industry. Our business, my philosophy is my job as a county commissioner is to facilitate them creating jobs, employing people that are provided with good wages, good benefits, and they can support themselves and a family. And anything we can do to remove a barrier, an obstacle, and build a bridge to make it easier, that's what I want to do. So we try to work with them on a very, very close basis to make that happen.
Yeah. So we'll touch lightly on your campaign. I know you're in a campaign for governor.
Yes.
And, tell us some of your plans if you were to become governor. How do you see the state? We've got a lot of momentum going right now.
We do. We've got a lot of momentum going right now, and it's an honor to be running for governor. I'm humbled by the fact that I get this opportunity. I've got 3 focuses that I'm really going on. My primary focuses are jobs, education, and healthcare, that I feel very strongly on all 3 of those issues, and they kind of connect together. I'm tired of arguing whether or not we're 40th or 50th in education. Either one is bad. We need to be above the middle. We need to be above the median there, so we need to do a lot. Now, part of that is going to have to be putting more money into education, and part of it is going to be a little more accountability on the other side of that. Jobs are something that I think is ongoing. I know what it's like when my father lost his job, and he had to come home and tell my mom and my brother, my siblings, and I that he lost his job and how tough that was. So if I can help create good jobs, I'm not talking about minimum wage jobs, I'm talking about good paying jobs with benefits that somebody can use. That's something that I take a lot of pride in. So we need to continue doing that. I want to use the education system in the last 2 years of high school, your junior and senior year. When I was in high school, we had a lot of vocational technical training where if you were interested in being a carpenter, you're interested in being an electrician or plumber, you could explore those opportunities.
And by the way, there's nothing wrong with those careers. They pay very well.
They're great careers. I was at a welding company or a manufacturing company a couple weeks back, and they told me they're looking for welders. Starting pay was $70,000. I mean, those are great jobs.
That's right.
We just unfortunately aren't training the kids early enough. Every student doesn't want to go to college, and that's not a bad thing. They can come out of high school, have a couple years under their belt, get into an apprenticeship program, become a journeyman, and support themselves and their family in a great way. So that's something that I think we need to explore more and encourage people to do. And then healthcare, particularly with our seniors, my mom living here who's 91, and I understand how important Medicare is and how we expanded Medicare. We need to make sure that people are not precluded from getting adequate health care because of their ability to pay. Yeah. And that's something that's a priority for me. Every citizen, I think that's a right. You're entitled to that. And we need to do more, stop the bickering and the partisanship, and just get it done.
I agree. Well, this is just starting to get exciting. Yeah. I know your time is valuable. Can you stay another segment?
Absolutely, love to.
I'd love it. We'll be back with our last segment with Chairman Steve Sisolak in a moment.
Next time you see one of our first responders, whether it be Metro or it be fire or what have you, tell them thank you, because we owe them an eternal debt of gratitude for what they did. The fund that the sheriff and I set up yesterday has now surpassed 53,000 individual donations. We had to call in emergency room doctors at all of the hospitals to get people there, nurses to get people taken care of, and like I say, everybody came together so quickly and so well to help us get through this.
Hello, and welcome back. Here with Steve Sisolak, Chairman of the Clark County Commission. Steve, tell us how the Hispanic community has benefited from the work being done at the Clark County Commission.
I think that every community has benefited, but the Hispanic community in particular, we are recognizing the fact that they are underrepresented in terms of our contractors, our vendors, the opportunities that are afforded to different groups. And that needs to be corrected. Now, you can't do it all at one time, but I think a lot of that is outreach and it's education. We haven't done a good job as a county informing somebody like yourself, and we're thankful to have the Latin Chamber that can bring these information forward to let people know that the opportunities exist. A lot of times you get into this with the private sector that they don't know that the county purchases so much and has so many opportunities in anything, whether you're a vendor or you're a restaurant operator, a painter, or you sell a product or whatever it might be. The county buys. We've got everything from airports to hospitals. We're a big consumer of product here, and those opportunities are all available. So we're trying to make them more readily available and more apparent that they're available, but we need to do a better job educating, and we're thankful to have the LCC here to spread that information in the community so that people will afford themselves with that opportunity.
Can Hispanics do a little more? Can they, research more, get online more, go to the Clark County meetings, sit there, learn?
Absolutely, you can go. The best thing to do is to get online, and this is, I'm aware, I deal with the internet. I'm not the most tech-savvy person in the world, but you can find out an awful lot online 24 hours a day, whenever it's convenient for the person to visit the various sites. Visit the Clark County site, look for opportunities that are available. All our contracts, when we sell anything or we purchase anything, is put out to bid. Everybody has an opportunity, and you can submit a proposal, and that's what they need to start looking at. Attend a couple meetings and see what's actually going on, how we do make purchases. It's in our agenda. You'll see we're going to buy a truck, and we advertise it, and 6 or 8 companies might bid on that, and it goes to the low bidder so they can familiarize themselves with the process and learn about it and ultimately be the beneficiary from that.
Yeah. We certainly have to touch on the Raiders a little bit because not only is it exciting to see our city change. I mean, I see you at the hockey games. Yeah. It's a fun time.
Yeah.
We're going to have soccer coming up now. And obviously we have the Raiders. Our city's changing, isn't it, right before our eyes?
Our city is changing in a way that I never thought possible. When I got here 40 years ago, I would never imagine we'd have any professional sports franchise. And the way the Knights have come through, the Golden Knights, and brought the city together and excited the city is amazing. And they've been a huge part of this community. And the Raiders, they're already a member of the LCC.
Oh, yeah,
they
in a
step
big way.
up. They're there every single time. You don't have to ask them. They send players in. And when we went through one of our worst tragedies, 1 October.
We're going to touch on that.
I had Raiders and I had Golden Knights at the hospitals, at the police centers, at the Resiliency Center, talking to families. And it's great to be able to get them there and to have that communication. And even more important, we get them into the high schools. And you and I can go in there and talk to the kids and say, oh, that old guy came and talked to me. But when you send one of those athletes in there, it gets their attention.
And it creates hope. It creates hope, and it makes a connection. And, with the Raider construction, obviously, my membership's excited. Some of them have already started to work on some of these projects. And, this is going to create a tremendous opportunity. Entrepreneurship, there's going to be places open up around the stadium. I think it's phenomenal.
It is phenomenal. The amount of jobs that are going to be created and the synergy that's associated with that. You see what's happened where the community's coming together around a hockey team, and it's going to be expanded even more with the NFL football team. And got to remember, there's only 32 cities that are fortunate enough to have an NFL
That's
team.
right.
We're one of
It's a
we're
privilege.
it's a pretty elite group to be in, and they really want to be part of this community. And I mean, they're here, they're at everything, they want to be part, they're contributing, and I think it's a great partnership. And I think that there's going to be benefit to come for many, many years as a result of this partnership that we've had with them.
Yeah, certainly. As a person who's lived in this city for 47 plus years, I mean, I love Las Vegas. I love Nevada so much. 1 October, you know, it still gets me emotional. Our city was attacked, and it gets me emotional. And but it also gets me emotional to see the response. And I got to tell you, politics aside, everything aside, you really stepped up. Like, this generally affected you. I saw the sincerity. You and our sheriff stepped up and did what you could. And so I'd like to hear right out of you how it affected you. What were your thoughts?
I will never forget that day on October 1st when, and I get emotional as well, when the sheriff called me at 11 o'clock at night, and I was sound asleep and my phone rang, and he said, we have a live shooter and we have 1 or 2 dead and a dozen wounded. And I said, I'll meet you at the Metroplex, and got in my shower and got in the car and got down there. And then when I saw what was really happening, it was hard to go to the hospital and visit Officer Hartfield's widow and explain our sympathies and offer our sympathies, and to actually go on the site with the sheriff and see the carnage and the bodies and the blood that was there. And it was just, I saw things I never want to see again. I don't want anybody to have to see. I've never been in a war. I hope our families don't have to see that. But the hatred that man sent down on those 25,000 odd people that were in that facility was met with an outpouring of love, that this community came together in a way, Peter, that's never happened before. I mean, I was interviewed by TV stations around the world that saw a part of Las Vegas that wasn't 4 miles of neon on Las Vegas Boulevard. We put out a call for blood. The sheriff and I did it. It was probably, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And by 6 o'clock, there was a line blocks long around all the blood centers as a result of, people turning out. Schools gave the seniors off to go donate blood. Employers gave people off to be able to donate blood. We started a fund to raise some money for some folks, and close to 100,000 people, opened up their hearts and their wallets and donated, and it says a lot about our community and who we are.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what a lot of people don't know, and I know you don't want to brag about it, and it's nothing to brag about, certainly, but I'll say it. You also went to a funeral. I went with you, and that family was so honored to have somebody of your level in their eyes. Was so important. It showed so much respect, and I thank you for going there. That was a Hispanic young man who deserved to go out with some dignity, and you being there with us, that was a big deal.
Yeah, that was Eric's funeral, and it was an honor, and I needed help, and I called you. I mean, when I went to the wake the night before and met the family and the mom and dad and realized that they spoke no English, which I had no idea about, and I couldn't let them down. I had to go, and who do I turn to but my friend, Peter, and said, look, I need an interpreter, and you got me interpreter. You got Marco to come and interpret for me, and it was a very moving, humbling service to be at, and that he and I told his mom and dad that he saved a lot of lives. I mean, his actions, and unfortunately he died as a result of that, but he died helping people, and I think that's what he would have wanted, and it was honored to be asked to do that, but at the same time, like you say, it was tough. It's tough to go through those things.
Well,
it's tough for a family to go through that.
We won't forget that day, and we won't forget the first responders and everybody who showed up, including yourself. So thank you for letting us inside your heart a little bit today, and knowing what you do a little bit, and good luck in your campaign and with all the work that you're doing. And I really appreciate you always being a friend of the Latin Chamber of Commerce.
Peter, thank you, and thank you for what you're doing with the Latin Chamber. I mean, it says a lot. I mean, for those of you who are members, you need to know that Peter's at everything. I mean, I go to a lot of events, especially when I'm in campaign mode, and you're at every one of them. I don't know where you get the energy from, but you do a tremendous job representing not just the chamber, but representing the entire community. And on behalf of the commission, I want to thank you for that.
Well, I appreciate that very much.
You're a good man.
I want to thank Chairman of the Clark County Commission, Steve Sisolak, for being here with us today. I hope you have enjoyed this episode of Influencers. And until next time, stay motivated and stay inspired. Thank you.